Sorry about that. My microphone was muted. I apologize for the delay. Welcome to MT4 Professional. Today's presentation on trading strategies using the MT4 Professional Scanner is live, and we're going to be going through a demonstration as well as questions and answers. So if you have any questions or comments during today's live presentation, then over on the right-hand side of your GoToWebinar control panel is a questions pane. Please enter your question or comments there. Be more than glad to get to them in the order that they are received. I want to make sure and remind everyone that we are here for educational purposes only. MT4 Professional and Resilient Traders are not investment advisory services, and we're not registered investment advisors, so we cannot give you any specific trade advice. But what we can do is teach and train you on how to use our platform on the live edge of the market and how to set up scans and trades that should end to be consistently profitable and successful. Trading with futures, stocks, forex, options, and cryptocurrency trading has a large potential for reward. There's also a large potential for risk. You need to be aware of the risks involved and be willing to accept them in order to trade or invest in any of these markets. Past performance is not indicative of future results, so make sure that you get advice from a competent financial advisor before you start trading or investing in any of these markets. And never ever trade in a live account until you have first proven you can consistently and profitably trade a simulated account, and only then can you start working on your mind game. As I said before, I'm Randy Lindsay, your trade coach, operations director here at MT4 Professional. Joining me today is Claudio Cardinale in the background. He's our product development director and technology guru. Together we make up Resilient Traders. We're going to be talking about trading strategies using MT4 Professional. We're going to discuss a market scanner, what MT4 Professional is. I'll go through a live demonstration of the platform to show you exactly how we use it and how it's set up. And I'll make you a very special offer toward the end. Since today is a holiday in the US, we have a very special Labor Day offer to make you, if you're not already a member of our team. And of course, you can always ask your questions anytime during today's presentation. I'll do the best I can to answer them as we go. There are many popular strategies available today. The EMA and price is probably the most popular one, where it's just a pure price action strategy. You're looking at price being greater than or less than an EMA to determine long or short positions. The MACD and signal is a very popular setup that looks at convergence, divergence on a couple of averages, and you're looking for points that are either overbought or oversold. Moving average crossovers are great for looking at trend and direction and for determining which direction you want to trade in the market. Then there are the combination strategies that use EMA and price, the MACD signal, the relative strength, Bollinger Bands, etc. There's a lot of different indicators that are out there that you can combine into a strategy that can be successful if applied at the right time and if you know what you're doing. And then there's the ever popular alligator. It is more of a longer term swing trading strategy that's very popular and can be set up on 4-hour, daily, or even weekly charts. The MT4 Professional Scanner is a real-time scanner that can scan all of these strategies, plus many more, and alert you when conditions are met for a potential trade. So what is a market scanner and what is MT4 Professional? Well, if you look at the 50 different Forex pairs, 20 different CFDs, and 9 timeframes that are on the MT4 platform alone, that's more than 630 combinations to check. Well, if you're like me, I can't do that. I can't check that many pairs and manually. There's no way I can do that. Chances are good that you can't either. So how often do you think that we're missing opportunities? Quite a bit. So trading on different instruments is very important in today's environment to be profitable. In fact, trading uncorrelated instruments is a great way to remove uncertainty of an instrument and to diversify your portfolio. And everyone knows that diversification is key if you're wanting to maintain a good, profitable setup. In addition, trading uncorrelated instruments is a great way to always be in the trending move whenever it's presented. If you have one or two instruments that you trade, one might be trending, the other one probably isn't. If you have a basket of 5 or 10, then chances are good you're always going to have a trade that's setting up. And if you have a scanner, that's the perfect solution for finding those types of trades. A market scanner then is an automatic tool that allows you to scan the entire market or just the instruments that you're interested in for any symbol or time frame with your own custom rules and based upon standard or custom indicators. It's not a signal provider, but it's a tool that allows you to analyze your strategies and use indicators that you want to use the way you want to use them. And here's an example looking at two moving averages. So the image on the right, you can see there's a symbol list, and there are two different time frames that I'm looking at considering, a 1 minute and a 5 minute. So the cross of the moving average is looking at a bullish cross, which is, I want to see a green signal. If the the fast moving average is greater than the slow moving average. And I want to see a red signal when the fast moving average is less than the slow moving average. It's a simple comparison, and any scanner worth its salt should be able to do this for you. It's a technical scan. So if you look at the setup, then very quickly you can rifle through all of your instruments to see where the good setups are at. Here you can see a bullish trend on 1 and 5 minute time frames. You got a lot of bearish trends on both time frames. You have several reversal type setups where you've got a 1 minute changeover with a longer term 5 minute trend and vice versa. So you can see there are a lot of potential setups that are here that provide for very tradable outcomes. So a market scanner does this type of work for you automatically, so you can focus on the more important things like managing your trade or getting your mindset where it belongs. Once it's set up, the market scanner searches for conditions that meet your rules based on your own strategy. Then it alerts you when the conditions are met for a favorable trade, entry, or exit. Here's another example over on the right, where you can see I have a symbol list of different symbols, not only Forex, but we're looking at CFD futures instruments, including Bitcoin instruments. So you can see across 3 different time frames, this is looking at the EMA and price strategy, where I'm looking for a green sell if price is trading greater than the EMA based on the close of price, and I want to see a red sell if price is closing below the 15 period EMA based upon close of price. So looking at this very quickly, I can see that the dollar Canadian is very bullish. The Ethereum is very bearish, as is the S&P and NASDAQ markets. There are several that are in transition. You can see that the bond is on a uptrend, but it's starting to show some correction, and it's starting to show signs of reversing in that direction, as is crude oil. Gold is in a transition point where it started to turn in reverse against the longer term direction, but now we're seeing the faster time frame coming in. So as soon as the 5 minute turns green again, then this will be confirmation of a longer term trend setup. So that's a lot of really good information that I want to be able to see, and that the scanner should be able to do automatically in the background. Now, I talk a lot about multiple time frames, and did you know that if you trade using multiple time frames that you have a higher probability of a profitable trade? Well, it's due to correlation, and it's just one of the advantages of using multiple time frame technical analysis in your trading. If we look at the image on the right, you can see 3 different time frame the 15-minute, which is very noisy and choppy. You can see the 1 hour, which is a little smoother, but it's still choppy. And then you can see the 4 hour, which is quite smooth by comparison. So looking at these types of setups, if you're trading the 15-minute time frame and you're comparing that to the direction of your 4 hour time frame, then you have a much higher probability that your trade will end profitable if you're only taking trades in the direction of that longer term trend. And vice versa, if it started to turn down, then you're going to be having a higher probability that your trade will be profitable if you're trading in that direction. So by checking multiple time frames before you initiate your trades will be in harmony with the longer time frame trend. The result, higher probability trade, lower risk. So if we had a market scanner then that could search for these types of setups based on our rules and verified by multiple time frame analysis, it would be an extremely valuable tool. Here's an example I wanted to show you guys based upon a 4 hour, a daily, and a weekly chart setup. Here I've got my scanner looking for the rules based upon those setups. And you can see that the bullish trade came in on the Euro US dollar at this point where you see the crosshair. The rule, the strategy, is I'm looking for price to be greater than this 15-period exponential moving average. And I'm looking for a bullish MACD crossover, which is a histogram greater than a signal line that occurred right here as well. And I'm looking for the relative strength slope to be increasing or bullish. So if the current slope of this relative strength line is rising, then I want to know that, and it's a bullish cycle of strength coming into this market. In addition to that, it's also coming out of a region of extremely oversold conditions, so that's also very bullish. So this then would be my initial setup and my initial trade entry. Now I want to validate or verify that with multiple time frame. So I need to check the daily chart to see if I also have a bullish MACD setup. And do I have relative strength coming in showing me rising strength in the direction of my trade? In both cases, I got a confirmation. And then on my weekly chart, all I need to see is a relative strength that is rising. I need to see the slope on the relative strength to be positive. And in this case, it is. In addition, it's also coming out of an extremely oversold case. So that's all the confirmation I needed to take this trade. The result of the trade ended up being over 300 pips of profit on this setup, following the rules that I established on the setup. So by taking trades in harmony with the longer time frame, I get a lower risk trade opportunity and higher probability trades. And that's a powerful combination for any trader because it shows the importance of using multiple time frame technical analysis in your trading. A market scanner using multiple time frame analysis is an extremely valuable tool because it does all of that for you automatically. There was one problem that we ran into. As professional traders, we looked to see if there were any professional scanners in the market that we could utilize, and we really didn't find any. The few that we did find that called themselves scanners were too complex to configure, which meant you had to be a programmer to use it. They were unstable, or a single tool that did not integrate well with the rest of the system, or they were incompatible with a lot of the free indicators that you have access to on the system. There were lots of other issues we ran into. So our solution then was that we decided to create MT4Professional ourselves for our own daily trading. Word got out and other people started to see how successful we were using it. Now it's the #1 market scanner on MT4 and MT5. It's a tool that allows you to instantly scan the market for any setups that match your own unique criteria and rules. And when you find a good setup, it allows you to enhance your trade with technical analysis, enabling multiple time frame analysis, which really isn't that easy to do on MT4 and MT5. And I will show you that through our example. So let's get right into that. Let me pull up my MT4 platform. First of all, this is MT4. It's not MT4 Professional. I don't have it running in the background yet, so I wanted to show you some of the differences. This is just a standard 3-chart layout, 15, 30, and hourly chart setups. A lot of people just like to have just single charts like this set up, or maybe even a double chart. But you can see that the chart itself, if I need to change the symbol or the time frame, then I have to do uh, several other clicks individually to change these. And I have to drag and drop a symbol over onto the chart in order to change the chart layout from one symbol to another, but it won't do it on all of them. So I don't have one click integration, which is what I'd like to have. Also, if I want to go into a full screen mode, you can see very quickly I have to physically redraw all of my charts in order to take advantage of this real estate down here that's just waiting for me to use. Or if I went into a full F11 mode, you can see all of the spare space I've got on my charts, but I don't have access to them without redrawing. Now, since my windows are the same size, I can use the window function here to do a redraw every time I rescale in and out. But if I have a chart that's not the same size as the other charts, then you can see how that would be a real issue. Okay, so let me go ahead and launch MT4 Professional. First, I wanted to show you also that if I wanted to do a multiple time frame analysis, I have to middle mouse click on my chart to get the crosshair, and then I have to look at the time down on the bottom and the price at the right and take note of that in order to do that analysis. So looking at that price and time frame, I have to move over to the other charts and do the exact same thing. Looking at that and moving over to the other ones, I have to do the exact same thing there. So you can see that that's not very easy to do, and it doesn't allow you to synchronously look at the charts at the same time. So let me go ahead and launch MT4 Professional now. Let me pull up my EMA and price strategy, just as an example. And so what I want to show you here is the opportunity to look at the price and the setups as they are moving. Now it looks like I've got a little bug going on here. So let me go back over to here. I'm gonna go ahead and exit this. I want to relaunch it because it doesn't look like it's came up right. There we go. Much better. All right. So looking at the setups, you can see this is a EMA and price strategy. So I'm looking for price, that's the bars that you see here, to be greater than the 15-period exponential moving average you see on the chart, the blue line. If price is greater than that 15 period, then it will be green, and if it's less than, then it will be red. Now, currently you see that the 5-minute is green. That's because the most recent close of price right here is greater than the 15-minute bar. But this bar right here, when it closes, when the 5-minute bar closes, if it's below this line, then this box will turn red, indicating the initial switch over. So at this point, when it closed below, it did turn red for short term, but then it went right back to green again. So you can see when you start to cycle between red and green on your fastest time frame, then you know that you're in a consolidation range. It's not a good time frame to be looking for potential trade setups. So once you do click on the chart, then you can see here, here, and here that yes, it is in consolidation. This is a holiday. There's going to be a much lower volume of trading, especially this time of day as well. So, you know, just because your scanner is showing you a potential trade setup, you might want to look at the charts first before you actually consider taking that as a trade. Looking at the S&P 500, you can, by one click, you can see I pulled up the S&P on all 3 of my chart windows. You can see that it has set up a bullish 5-minute, but you've got a bearish 15 and a bearish 30. It's very clear to see that on the runs. but the time frame is showing that this is a short-term correction coming back up to this moving average. And so we'll be looking at that for a potential setup. But the markets are closed right now, so there's no way to take these trades anyway, as you're looking for setups. So just pull that in to let you know that. But notice that when I clicked on it, I was able to do a single click like we did on Euro, and you can see that that did close on this price bar below. So this turned red. Now it's closing back above, went green again. So what we're looking for are on these setups are the ability to analyze. And so do you see the blue crosshair that I have on my screen? That's the multiple time frame analysis tool, where you can click on the chart anywhere and notice that it moves synchronously on all the time frames at any point. So if you wanted to see it, like say this point right here, click on that and it holds it steady. You can see not only the price, but the time of that location. And you can look on the longer time frame charts to see if the price and time are also confirming that this is a potential entry point. Now, if you're looking at the 15 and the 30 minute, then you can see that that is a potential trade entry because your bar is closing green on both sides, but they are still well below the 15 period. So you might or might not want to be looking at that as a potential trade. It's a potential reversal setup, but as far as a trade is concerned, I wouldn't be looking for that as a potential trade. Now, there is what is this? Potential 9 pips of trade that you could have had in that, but is that worth the risk of the trade not setting up properly or pulling back up against you, since the overall longer term trends look like they're moving into consolidation? Maybe not. Well, let's look at the strategy itself. So how do I get MT4Professional to look at these strategies and to actually change colors the way that I want them to? Well, if you look at the configuration and click the edit button, then you see the configuration manager here. In order to get the, let me move this over so I can see it. There we go. In order to get the charts laid out the way I like them, then I set them up here in the chart configuration. By clicking on the icon, you can see the chart layout is one large window and then 2 smaller windows. You can see I have a very easy to use pull down menu to assign timeframes and templates. The configurations are all template driven, so if you have a template that you've used that you like and you've set up, then all you have to do is pull that template in using the name of the template, and it'll automatically display. And you don't have to use the same template or time on any of your setup charts. I like to, because I like to have all my charts looking the same. So that's how you would do that. If you wanted to add a new chart window, then just simply click the add new chart window. You can tile them up so that they're all equally spaced. Make sure on your new window that you put a time frame and that you assign an example price template, or you can choose any template that you have available from your templates directory. Okay. Over here on the left is the scanner panel. This allows me to modify or set up my symbol list and the rules for my scanner. Let's very quickly look at the symbol list setup. Over on the left-hand side, you can see a list of all of the symbols that are available to you from your broker. Your broker gives you a list of these things, and if you don't find the symbols that you want on the list, then contact your broker and ask them to add them to your account so that you can start trading them. Search symbol, you can search for any setup. If I'm specifically looking for euro-based instruments, then I will type in EUR, and any symbol that has the EUR symbol in it will pop up on the list, and then I can add those by selecting them and then clicking the right arrow button to add that to my list. If I didn't want that particular instrument on my list after all, then it's very easy to remove it by clicking that button. I can clear all the symbols with one click, I can go through and type any setup. So I'll type in USD, and that way I can go ahead and start looking for any of the US dollar denominated instruments that I want to add to my list. Click the right arrow button and they will automatically be added over to my list. These are going to be the symbols that the scanner searches. So set up the charts the way that you like them and search to your heart's content. Now, if we go back to the scanner panel, again, instead of looking at the symbol list, let's look at the scanner configuration itself. Again, make sure that you enter your questions or comments in the questions panel so that I can see them and answer them as we go along. If you have questions, that is. I have a 5-minute, a 15-minute, and a 30-minute setup. Each one of these windows corresponds to a column on my scanner window. So if I look over on my scanner window, you can see my symbol list and each column corresponding to the time frames that are set up. By default, the label on the time frame column will be the same as the time frame. However, if you want to give it a different name other than the time frame, then you can give it that name right here in this field. And if you want the actual output of any indicator to be displayed inside of these fields as well, then you can show that right here in the indicator to show section. You can put any indicator here to output, like the relative strength, the output of your MA or something. So you can display the actual numerical value here. Most people just like to see the color of the resulting setup. So this is not required for it to be filled in. But what is required is you need to have at least one main color rule definition, and that's what I called here a main CR. You can give it any name that you want, and if you have more than one, then they will be in a pull down list, menu item list that comes right here. And you can select the time frame based upon any of the time frames that you have available in a simple pull down menu as well. To change, update, or edit your color rules, then you click the pencil button here, and that allows you to edit and update your rules. If you don't have any color rules and you need to start from scratch, then just click the plus sign and it allows you to set up and create a brand new color rule based upon any criteria that you provide. So let's go ahead and go into the edit and look at what this specific color rule says. Since this is the EMA and price strategy, we're looking to see if the close of the current price is greater than or equal to a 15-period exponential moving average. Now this is an indicator and the price is a value that's output through a stream. And so by looking at this, you can see that I have access to that on the pull down menu, the EMA and the price action. If I wanted to change this or if I wanted to add another indicator, then all I have to do is just add the comparison here or change the indicator by clicking the plus signs. Here, if I'm wanting to compare a 15-period EMA with a 20-period simple or maybe even a 50 SMA, then this is how you could do that. You pull up first your 15-period EMA, then you want to see if that 15 period is greater than a 50 period SMA. Well, notice that that's not on my list, so I have to add it. So by clicking this plus sign, I'll go to my indicator window. From my configurations, I'll select trend and moving average. I'll use that indicator. Now I'll set it up so that I'm looking at a 50 period simple moving average that's based upon the close of price. That's the one I want to use. So I'll click OK. And now you can see I have that indicator set up on my list. So not only am I looking to see if price is greater than the 15, I'm also looking to see if the 15 is closing greater than the 50. What that does two things. Number one, it shows me that the price action is greater than that 15 period, but it also shows me I'm bullish on a much longer term trending cycle. So this is a good setup if you're looking for that type of a trade confirmation. Now, if I'm looking for a bearish setup, that's the same, then I need to be able to add this 1550 cross to my downside conditions. So the close has to be less than the 15 period exponential, and I need to see that the 15 is less than my 50. Notice I have the 50 period SMA on my pull down menu already. Once you load it in on one, it's always going to be available on the rest. You only have to do it one time. So you can click OK, and that automatically gets added to the conditions of your color rule. And then when the scanner goes out and starts scanning, it's going to be checking for this condition and this condition. So if this condition is true, but this condition is not true, then this whole condition is not true, and it will start looking for this condition. Then it'll see if this condition is true and this condition is true, then it'll be red. But if this condition is true, but this condition isn't, that automatically means that this condition won't be true either. So you will get a yellow default color on your output, meaning that the output of your strategy is not quite ready for prime time yet. So your trade's not set up. It needs a little bit more time to develop. But once this is true, or once this is true, then you'll get a red or green output telling you and confirming that this is a bullish or a bearish trade setup. Okay, any questions so far? If you wanted to add RSI or any other combinations in here, you can also do that by clicking the plus sign, adding the indicator, setting it up and changing it the way that you want, and then saving it. It's as simple as that. Once you've made changes to your color rule and you've verified that it's working to your specifications, then you can turn on your real-time notifications by simply clicking this box right here. By turning this on, it will automatically send you, anytime there's a color change, it will automatically send you a notification via update on the charts, update on MT4 through email, or if you've set up your phone or your Telegram account, it will give you a SMS or Telegram account notification based upon your settings. If you are in the office and you have your alerts set up, then you probably want to not include a snapshot on the alerts. So uncheck that, because what it does is it will change the layout of your charts based upon the symbol that it was on. So if you're doing some analysis on the euro US dollar, you get an alert, it'll change the symbol to the alert symbol, say the euro US dollar will change to the pound US dollar, then it'll change on your charts in front of you automatically and take a snapshot. Well, that's a little bit frustrating if you're doing some analysis on the euro, but the charts change over to a pound. But that's necessary in order for the system to take a picture and send it to you if you're outside of the office, maybe at lunch somewhere, or you're doing something, you want to see a snapshot. So that way you turn it on or off, and that fixes the problem of the charts automatically moving on you in the background. Okay? If you have a very fast time frame, like 1 minute or less, I don't recommend putting real-time notifications on initially until you've verified that that's exactly what you want to see or to do, because then you're going to be getting a lot of notifications. You'll be getting notifications every minute if there are changes on your charts, and that's a lot of notifications. So I recommend that you don't turn this on until you're ready to go live in prime time. Once you're completed, click the OK button. And once you've done all the changes to your configuration, give it a good name, give it a good meaningful configuration description so that when you're looking through, you see exactly what it entails. And then click the Save button. The Save button will have a check mark on it to verify that it has been saved not only to your computer, but to the cloud. Since all of MT4Professional is cloud-based, then everything will be backed up and utilized in the cloud for your security. Then close the window and make sure that you load the setup by clicking the Load button every time you make any changes at all. So that way you've got a good, fresh running copy of your solution with the most recent changes updated on it. Okay, any questions so far? Well, remember before I was talking about the symbol changing or the screen scaling? Notice that when I go to full screen mode, that 100% of my available screen space is automatically taken. And that's great. It's nice to be able to automatically capture all of that real estate. And then when I go back into a smaller screen mode, it automatically rescales for me so that my charts aren't chopped off. So those are just some really nice features. One-click integration, multiple time frame analysis, validation. Everything is there and it's ready for your setup. You'll always see your chart set up like this. So if I were to change and put, like, say, a MACD on this chart, put a stochastics on this chart, okay, everything is set up and looking the way they are. I'm doing analysis and checking on that. But if I were to go and click on another symbol, then those indicators that I just placed on my charts went away. And that's because MT4Professional is template driven. So there's a template that defines the look and feel of all of your charts. And once you have one of those setups done, like if you have a MACD on your chart and you want to add a momentum indicator, and you can see that those are giving you good setups that are in harmony with your current configuration, then save that as a template. Give it a specific name, click the Save Template, give it a template name, one that you will be representative of that. Will say like it's an EMA, MACD, momentum. You can give it some name that reflects that. So that way, I'll cancel out of that. When you go to configure your charts, then all you have to do is click the plus sign and go and find the name that you just created of that template and load it in here. And then that will automatically update and keep all of these charts synchronized with this type of layout. Okay, everyone follow along. All right, so far I haven't gotten any questions. So either you're all asleep or you're clear on where we are and you're following along quite well. So I appreciate that. So let's pull up a little bit more complex example. The one I showed you in the presentation was one that's using the 3 or so different indicators. So this one is, instead of it being based upon faster time frames, 5, 15, or 30-minute time frames here, this one's looking at a 4-hour chart, a daily chart, and a weekly chart. Well, if you're looking at these types of setups, then I'm looking, like I said before, I'm looking for price to close greater than the EMA. I need to see a bullish MACD, and I need to see a bullish relative strength. Okay, so for me to be long, I need to see that setup. If I'm looking right now at the current price, then based upon the 4-hour, this one is short, this one is short, and this one is neutral. So I don't have any type of setup here. And you can see on the daily chart as well, I do have a bearish setup on the 4-hour based upon my previous setup, but I have a neutral setup on my daily. And so that isn't going to fly for me. I don't see any directional information on that. The pound, the Canadian, the Swiss, they're all neutral on the 4-hour as well. So you can see there isn't much that's setting up for me that's looking like a good trade. So I need to let the markets settle. You can see where price is right now, that it's starting to bottom, although it is greater than the previous close, which is a good indication of price action failure, potential for a rally back up from this point. But I need to see a lot of things come into play first in order for that to be a continuation move, because even though this was a nice pullback and a potential setup here, The longer term trend looks like it's coming up into that same level of support. And the weekly chart also is in a bullish longer trend, but it is closing back below its 15 EMA. And we're starting to get some indications that this is in a downward move as well, with our MACD cross being negative and the relative strength being moving, going down in a negative direction. So you've got to take this with a grain of salt. It needs a lot more time in order to develop if this really is a price action failure setup. Looking at the configuration, then you can see how easy it is to set this up. I called it a strong signal, and you can see I have two different strategies in play here. One's looking at the actual signal to get in, and the other one's just looking at the trend. So let's look at the entry signal or exit signal. The condition for a bearish trade is using the MACD. In this case, we're looking at the MACD base indicator, which is the white value. And then the red line here is the signal line. So I'm looking here at the base indicator to see if it's less than the signal line, which is the second one. So I have the same indicator loaded twice, but one of them is looking at the signal line, the other one is looking at the baseline. And this has to be true as well. Price has to be less than that 15-period exponential moving average. And I need to see that the relative strength 2 bars ago, that's a shift in price. So if I were to look at that indicator, then you can see I shifted the price by 2 bars. So it's looking back in time 2 bars ago to see if the previous close of price, okay, is greater than the current close of price. So if you look at the chart, and you can see that the previous 2 bars ago is greater than the current one, which means that the trend is down. So that's bearish, and that's what I want. Vice versa, for a bullish setup, I'm looking at a MACD where the histogram is greater than the signal line, price has to be greater than the EMA, and I need to see a rising relative strength, which means that the previous relative strength has to be less than the current relative strength in order for me to have a positive slope. Then it will be green. If any one of these conditions or these conditions are false, then the output will be yellow and it'll be waiting for trade to set up properly. If we look at the weekly chart, notice I have the trend color rule turned on the weekly chart, but not the other two. So by looking at the trend color rule, you can see all I'm looking for there on my weekly setup is to see if that price is greater than or less than this 15-period exponential moving average. So you can see over time, it's a really great setup. So when that change occurs, you can see there's a really high potential for direction change as well. So I'm looking for this as a confirmation of the direction that I want to trade in. So looking at my scanner tells me the trade setups and the trend direction to see whether that's going to be in line with where I need to trade or not. It's a great setup. All right, so let me go back to my presentation real quick. Oh, before I do that, I just wanted to show you real quick that if you go to the members area of the MT4Professional website on your mobile device or on your laptop or tablet, you log into the members area through the MT4Professional website. This is where you download your software, you install it, you follow the onboarding process to make sure everything is installed. If you need help, then you can schedule for a call or set up a time frame with us to help you get installed as well. And you can go to the Help and Documentation Center, which is what we refer to as our knowledge base. Here you can see all of the quick start videos, the support setups, the instructions on how to configure things, and all of the configuration managers that are there, even how to set up or add your Telegram notifications account, or how to unsubscribe or cancel your subscription if you ever need to do that. Everything is here in the knowledge base. And if you don't find answers to the questions that you do have, then you always can create a support ticket where we guarantee 24-hour response to any of the issues or questions that you might have. And we're more than glad to get our professional staff on top of that right away. So if you, in the members area, if you go to the real-time scanner portion of the menu, then this is where you would take the MT4Professional platform with you. So by clicking on this and then selecting the platform that it's running on, your computer, select the computer that you're running it on, then it will automatically go out and check the setup and configuration of that chart and display it on your charts right here. Looks like there's a glitch here. It's taking a lot longer to load than normal. It normally loads up really quickly. Let's try it again. I'm not sure why it's taking so long. There. See, that's how quick it should go. Somehow I think my browser was glitched. So by a simple refresh, it went right out and picked it up. This is normal. You should click on it and it should just pop right up. So by looking at the setup, you can see that the scanner display is exactly what it looks like on my computer back in my office. Except I'm not back in my office. I'm out at lunch somewhere with my friends. So by pulling this up, I can see that I've got a potential trade setup on the dollar yen because I've got a near-term bullish setup. My daily is yellow, but it's in a longer-term bullish trend. So this could be a potential trade setup. So by clicking on this symbol, I want you to notice that the symbols that I have displayed on my desktop are the euro US dollar. By clicking on the symbol on my mobile device, it will automatically change the symbols here, take a snapshot, and send it to me on my mobile device. And that way I can check right now what the current setup and what the current trade setup is. So you can see I am in a longer term trend up. I do have a crossover and a nice bullish setup here, but it is in overhead resistance. So you can see I'm starting to bang my head up against that resistance plateau 1, 2, 3, 4 different times. And so that needs to be validated because right now I'm in a crossover and a bearish region of the daily chart. The weekly is still confirming bullishness, and the 4 hour is confirming bullishness on all 3 of my time frames and setups, but this doesn't look good right now. So I need this to start turning and going in line with the longer term trend and other chart to give me into that trade. So, but it's close. I can see this is a potential bullish setup, and I'm going to be following it closely in the near future. So by checking it while I was out of the office, I can see that it's not quite ready for a trade, but I want to continue to monitor that. So it's nice to be able to see that even if you're not in the office. Oh, and if you do get notification of a trade, then right here is the notifications section. So you get a trade notification here where you can click on the snapshot itself. You get real-time setup on what the symbol is, what the time frame, and what the scanner itself was that generated the trade. Okay, and of course it's the same place where we give you general announcements as well, like when we have pushed out the most recent update to the software and so forth. So all of that is in line and available to you in the members area. Let me go ahead and move that back over. Last but not least, whenever you go into your configuration manager and edit then you can see in the bottom right-hand corner is a share icon. This is where you can share your configurations with any other member in the MT4Professional world. So if you have a trading team that you're working with, then you can do the setups and then share it with them so that everybody is on the same page at the same time. All they have to do is go to the configuration manager, scroll down to the inbox, and select the file that you just sent them, and it will automatically load that as a configuration for your MT4 platform. So since everything is cloud-based, your computer could crash, your hard drive would go down, but you're still safe. And once you get your computer back up and running, all you have to do is install MT4Professional and you're back up exactly where you had left off from before. So everything is backed up and secure in the cloud. So let me go back to my presentation. So this is make a very special offer to you because this is a Labor Day. MT4Professional comes with a full-featured MT4 or MT5 platform software. You get all the features, nothing's redacted or pulled out. You get full access to our Skype community, where we have hundreds of traders that have access to the community every single day, 24/7. If you have questions, then you can post your questions there and interact with anyone if they're around. You also get unlimited configuration storage, unlimited Telegram emails and push notifications, up to 100 per month SMS notifications, fully included in your monthly subscription. You also get dozens of pre-configured presets, and all the strategies I showed you today are all going to be fully included as well. We don't charge you the perceived value of that. We also have set up $194 a month as our initial subscription rate, but as part of our class, we've reduced that by 50% to $97 per month. And as part of the Labor Day special that we're presenting to you now, we're going to take another 20% off of that, 50% off, for only $77 per month. If you use the code LABOUR23, that's the European spelling of the word labor. In the United States, of course, we would not have the U in there, but as it is, my European cohort spelled this for me. So this is what you have access to. So if you click on the link, mt4professional.com/trial, and I'll put that in the chat box here for you. So that you can just do a simple click on that. I'll send that off to you. So click on that, mt4professional.com, enter this code LABOUR23, LABOUR23, and that will knock the price from $97 to $77. You get a 14-day free trial once you enter that subscription, which means that your credit card won't be charged at all for the first 14 days. It's not until the 15th day that it's actually going to go out and try to charge you. You can cancel anytime during the 14-day period, and you'll still get full access to the software for 14 days to do your evaluations and training. But if you do cancel, then you will lose your discount that's applied to the base subscription rate. If you have any questions during your trial or during the setup, then you can always contact us at support@mt4professional.com. Let me copy in that and make it available to you here. That's support@mt4professional.com. Like I said, we'll guarantee 24-hour response to any of your questions. And we'll make sure that we get you set up and everything is installed properly as you need. So let me get my platform back up and running here. There you go. And I'll set it up and it'll automatically scale so that we're looking at the charts and still have access to the link and the discount code as well. So do you have any questions or comments for me today? Any special strategies that you want me to show setup or use on here? I'll be more than glad to go over those for you and set them up. In our configuration presets, you can see we have the alligator strategy. We've got the EMA and price. Show you how to do a shift on any specific indicators. How you do a MACD and signal crossover, how you look at multiple color or even multiple condition examples, multiple time frame technical analysis with signals, price pattern examples, relative strength, crossovers, reversals. These are all different types of strategies that you can look at on different time frames to consider those. Or if you saw anything you liked on my screen, I can send it to you and you can download it and start using it today. So let me know, and I would definitely appreciate that. All right, well, if there aren't any more questions, then I want to thank you for your time and your attention today. It's been my pleasure to be here with you. We hold these live webinars every 2 weeks. So the next class is going to be 2 weeks from today on September the 18th at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, United States. So wherever you are in the world, we usually hold them based upon Eastern Time here. So it's been my pleasure to be here with you, and I look forward to working with you in the very near future. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and have a great rest of your time and a great rest of your day. Bye for now.